everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I've been playing with the latest bargain bead box today, the Spring Blossom collection, and I've got a bunch of little dishes set out here with a bunch of bargain bead box stuff in them. In case you're not familiar, Bargain Bead Box is a monthly subscription of beads and findings. It's $19.49 a month, and that includes shipping in the United States. They have beautiful beads and findings. It's always curated around a different theme each month. And if you're a subscriber to the Bargain Bead Box, you get a 30% off coupon to use in Bead Box Bargains, which is their sister store. And you can use it as many times as you want to during the month. And they already have great prices. I have a coupon code. It's Teresa2, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon code will save you $2 off your first box if you sign up. In here I've got the natural 10mm matte pink Aventurine round beads and the dyed 8mm rose quartz round beads. And here I've got the 3.5 by 3mm crystal faceted rondelle beads. It was a pastel mix and I picked out the blue ones. I did green and pink last time, so I thought I'd do blue and pink this time. These are the 6mm frosted glass beads, pink ombre / gold. And here I've got the 24.5mm handmade lampwork glass pink flower bead. I've got the two 14mm rose quartz carved rose beads. I've got the natural 35 by 31mm rose quartz faceted round pendant with brass. I've got the bead caps that came in the box. And here I've got the chain that came in the box. And I've got a lobster clasp and some jump rings, one of the little 6mm beads and a ball head pin that I'm going to use as a dangle off the extender chain and a piece of extender chain. I was not going to make earrings, but then those last two little lever back ear wires were just looking at me like they wanted to be made into earrings. So I've got two of the 8mm beads, two of the 6mm beads, a few of the little blue rondelles, some bead caps from my stash, a couple of ball head pins and a couple of eye pins, and the lever back ear wires that came in the box. I've got some eye pins here. I've got some of my 22 gauge German style wire here. This is what I use. It's the Bead-A-Lon German style wire. I've got my chain nose pliers, my tweezer pliers. The tweezer pliers are Xuron. Got my two pairs of bent chain nose pliers. These I got from BB Craft many years ago, and these are called Glitter Line. I've got my crimping pliers and my round nose pliers. The round nose pliers I got from BB Craft many years ago. The crimping pliers are Bead-A-Lon. I'm not going to do any crimping today, but I used the end of it there to squish in the little burrs that are left when I cut off the wire. And I've got my cutters. These are Xuron. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my wires in when I cut them off. I just emptied him, so he's all fresh and ready to go. I think that's everything, so hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to get the hard part out of the way right off the bat and try to. I'm going to use this as a link if I can. And I am not good at wire wrapping center drill beads or top drill beads, briolets, any of that. I just have never been able to master doing that. So, and I can usually do it, but it usually takes several attempts before I can get it the way I want it to be. And of course I've decided to use it as a link, which means I'm going to have to wrap at the top and the bottom. But I'm going to try this here. So I'm going to take a piece of my 22 gauge wire. I'm going to put it through the back. I'm not going to center it. I'm just going to put a little bit through this end and a lot through this end. I'm going to take this short piece and I'm going to bend it up here into this little cavity that's in the flower. I'm going to take this piece and bend it forward. And make them sort of cross there. Kind of like a little triangle like that. And I'm going to take my short piece and make it go straight out. It's pretty much straight out anyway. Now I'm going to take this longer piece and make it go straight up. And now I'm going to take the short piece and wrap it around the long piece just a couple times to get the wire secured. If I can straighten it up here a little with my pliers. I'm going to take my cutters and I'm going to cut off this extra wire. I'm going to take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle over the tool. Take my round nose pliers, put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and take this part and push it up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop. Take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. And I'm going to try to get these wraps to meet the wraps that I've already made. Well, that's not terrible. That's probably something I can live with. I don't know. Still like to straighten this up a little here. Which is going to unstraighten my loop. Okay, now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off the extra wire. I'm going to take my crimping pliers and go into the part at the end there that just has the little half circles on each side and squish in my little burrs. Now I'm going to try to do that again down here. So I'm going to take another piece of wire, go in through the back, just leave a little, I mean, I guess you could go halfway, it doesn't really matter because there's plenty of wire here. So I'm going to bend this up till it goes in that little crevice there. I'm going to bend this piece forward till it meets that piece and kind of crosses there. Take my pliers and bend the short piece out like that and the long piece up. I'll take the short piece and wrap it around the long piece. Couple of times. going to take my cutters, cut off the extra wire. If I can straighten this up. I'm going to take my pliers, go to the very tip of the pliers, bend the pliers over, or bend the wire over at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to run those pliers in the crook of the bend, run those pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the bead, rotate the pliers until they're facing the table, hold on tight, take this apart and push it up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. I'm going to take my bent and chain nose pliers, my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, and I'm going to try to get these wraps to meet the wraps down here. And I cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and go in here and squish in the little burrs. Well, that's what I've got. It's not perfect, but I think I can live with it. So now I'm going to get my other stuff out and start making the stuff for the rest of my necklace. Hold on. Okay, now I'm going to do some wire wrap loops and some simple loops because I don't know yet how I want to lay this out. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to do wire wrap loops on the larger beads and simple loops on these little 6mm beads, and then figure out how I want to lay them together and connect them. I changed my mind. I decided to bring in some little bead caps from my stash to go around the 8mm beads to bring in a little bit more gold. And I changed my mind on the earrings. I decided to do 2 of the 10mm beads and 2 of the 8mm beads instead of the 8mm and the 6mm and the little rondelles. So I just wanted to tell you that. I just changed my mind about that. So I'm going to take one of my pieces of wire. Like I said, this is about 3.5, 4 inches. I think I said this is about 3.5, 4 inches of wire. I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches. Bend the wire over the top of the pliers. Take my round nose pliers. Put them in the crook of the bend. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Take the shorter piece and push it up under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the wire, which usually puts the rest of your little piece of wire not entirely straight up, but really at a pretty good angle there. Now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, and I usually do this first part with my hands. I'm just going to wrap this around this shorter piece around the longer piece about 3 times. Now I'm going to cut off the extra wire. I'm going to take one of my little rondelles and one of the, which I did not get out, bead caps that came in the box. one of my 10mm Aventurine beads, one of the bead caps that came in the box, and another rondelle. Now I'm going to take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers because I don't want a very long neck. Trying to get it straight with the bottom loop that I've already made. Now I'm going to bend the wire over the tool at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. I'm going to bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the beads. Like that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop, take my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, start my wraps. I'm just going to wrap until there's no more room left to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire, take my crimping pliers and go in the end there that has just the little half circles on each side. And I'm going to tuck in my little burrs that are left from where I cut off my wire, but you got to be really, really careful here and not crack that little rondelle at the end because they're very delicate and very easy to crack. So now I'm just going to do the same thing with my 8mm bead. I'm going to go down about 1.5 inches. Bend the wire at a 90-degree angle over the pliers. Put my round nose pliers in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the tool. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight, take the shorter piece of wire up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until your loop is centered over the wire. Like that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers, hold on to my loop, hold on really tight so it doesn't get out of shape. Now I'm going to bend the shorter piece of wire around the longer piece of wire about 3 times. I'm going to cut off the extra wire. I'm going to take one of my little rondelles, a bead cap from my stash, my 8mm bead, bead cap from my stash, another rondelle, I'm going to take my pliers, go to the very tip of the pliers, bend a 90-degree angle over the pliers, put my round nose pliers in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me, bend the wire back until it hits the bead, rotate the pliers till they're facing the table, hold on tight and take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the beads. that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop, and I'm going to stop for a minute because I forgot to mute my phone, and I know that an alarm is about to go off on it, and I don't want to scare y'all to death. Hold on. Okay, I forgot to put it on mute, and I happened to look at the clock and saw it's right about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I have an alarm set on my clock to remind me when to take my medicine, and I totally forgot to mute it. Okay, now I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers and hold on to my loop really tight. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers, and then I'm going to start my wraps. I always get that first wrap good and tight, and I'm just going to wrap till there's no more room to wrap. Now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burr there very gently so as not to break that rondelle. And I always wait until I get beads on here before I know a lot of people go ahead and tuck their wire in when they make that first loop, but usually when I do that I end up mangling the wire and the loop and everything, so I find it easier if I have a bead to brace against when I tuck in those wires. Okay, so now on these smaller ones I'm just going to do simple loops. So I'm just going to put my bead on there. I'll take my pliers and I'm going to go a little bit above the bead because I don't want to crack my bead. Just to leave a little bit of space there. I'm going to bend at a 90-degree angle. Now I'm going to take my cutters and I'm going to cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of wire. I'm going to take my round nose pliers. I'm going to go to the tip of the wire, make sure there's none sticking out here. I'm going to start rolling back a loop. Make sure to get the loop good and closed. And if your bottom loop is not in line with your top loop, which mine are almost always not in line, just take 2 pairs of pliers and just twist it like that and get them to be lined up. If I can get a hold of it and show it to you. So that's what I've got for that. So now I'm going to do that with several of, I don't know how many it's going to take, so I'm going to do this with several of my bigger beads and my smaller beads, and then I'm going to try to lay it out and figure out how I want to put it together. So I'll be back when I get several more of these done. Okay, I've got a bunch of links made here now, and I think I know how I want to lay this out. I'm going to take one of these little links that I made with my 6mm beads. Open it up and put my little flower link I made here. Then close it back up. I'm going to have to do this with my tweezer pliers. It's hard. I'm having a hard time getting in here with my regular pliers. Make sure to get it closed really well. Now I'm going to take another one of my 6mm links. Open it up and put it on the other side of my flower. Now I'm going to take one of my, this is going to be asymmetrical. I'm doing asymmetrical again. I just do that a whole lot here lately. Used to never would do it. Now I'm going to open this one and put one of my links that I made with my 10mm Aventurine beads. Close it up. Get it closed up really well. Now I'm going to take another one of my little 6mm links I made and open the side that opens. I'm always trying to open the wrong side. And thread it onto this. I'm going to take the other side here. Open it up, thread another one of my 10mm links on here. Now I'm going to take another one of my 6mm links. Open it up, thread that on there, close it back up, get it closed up really well. Don't want this coming apart after all this hard work. Now I'm going to do another one of my links with the big 10mm beads. And now I think I'll end this side with one of my little links here. Little 6mm links. Okay, see what that measures. That's about 7 inches. So now I'm going to try to get this other side to be the same length as this side. I ended up only using one of these little rose beads so far. I don't know, I might have to add another one if this doesn't come out long enough. So I'm going to take it and take one of my 6mm links and thread it onto that. I'll take the other side and thread it on to one of these links that I made with my 8mm beads. I'll take another 6mm link, open it up and put it on the end of this one. I'm going to go to the end of this one and open it up. one of my links with my 8mm bead. And I'm going to take another 6mm link, open it up, put it on here. Go to the other end of this, open this one up, put one of my 8mm links on here. Now I'm going to take another 6mm link, open it up, put it on here. Go to the other end of it, open it up, put another 8mm link on here. I have one more 6mm link here. I'll put this on here and we'll see if that's going to be enough. I think that's fairly even. Now I'm going to take a 6mm jump ring, open it up, connect my two ends down here, and add my pendant. Close my jump ring back up. Oops. Well, that's what I've got. Okay, now I've got a couple of pieces of chain here. They're about 2.5 inches each. I'm gonna connect a piece of the chain to each side. Okay, I know this chain will go on here. I already tried it before I started this. There. I'm going to do the same thing on this other side. Okay, now I'm going to take another 6mm jump ring. Put my lobster clasp on. These jump rings are really, really thick. Now I'm going to take an 8mm jump ring. Put it on this side. And I've got about 2 inches of extender chain here that I'm going to put on here. Didn't get that 8mm closed up good. Okay, now that's what I've got. So now I'm going to make a little dangle to go on my extender chain. Got a ball head pin and one of these little 6mm. Put my bead on here. Take my pliers, go to the tip of the pliers, make a 90-degree bend over the tool, and don't let your pliers slip out like I just did. Take my round nose pliers and put them in the crook of the bend, round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and pull this part up and under until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. My bent chain nose pliers. Hold on to my loop really tight. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers and start to wrap. Just wrap until there's no more room to wrap. Take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. My crimping pliers, squish in my little burr. I'm going to take my link at the end here. up. Thread on my little dangle. Close it back up. So there we go. That's what I got. So now I'm going to get my stuff together and make a little pair of earrings. Hold on. Okay, these are just going to be super simple pair of earrings here. I'm going to take one of my ball head pin and one of the bead caps that came in the box, one of my Aventurine beads, another bead cap that came in the box. I'm going to take my pliers, go to the very tip of the pliers, bend at a 90-degree angle over the pliers. Around those pliers, put them in the crook of the bend, around those pliers facing me. Bend my wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight and take this part under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock it back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers, my other pair of bent chain nose pliers, and start to wrap. And just keep wrapping until there's no more room to wrap. Want to get that around there one more time. It'll be tight and the bead caps won't be flopping around. Okay, now I'm going to take my cutters, cut off the extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and tuck in my little burr. I'm going to take my eye pin, put one of my bead caps on here, and an 8mm, another one of my bead caps. Take my pliers, go a little bit above the bead so that I don't crack my bead. My bead cap keeps trying to stick to my pliers. And I stop that. I'm going to bend it at a 90-degree angle. Take my cutters and cut off and leave about 1/4 of an inch of wire. Around those pliers, go to the end here. Make sure there's no wire sticking out on this side, and roll back a loop. Try to get my loop closed up really well. And I don't think it's closed up really well. And it's not straight with the bottom loop. I'm going to take 2 pairs of pliers here and just straighten it up. And now I'm going to take my pliers and open this bottom loop. Thread Added my little dangle on here. Close it up. Now take the top loop here, open it up, thread on my ear wire, close it up. A little pair of earring, or little earring there. So now I'm going to make the other one off camera and I'll be back. Okay, y'all, I have discovered a mistake. I should not have hung my pendant with a jump ring because it's going to hang sideways. I intended to put those straight on there. I don't know why I picked up a jump ring and put that on there. But now I'm just going to have to take my jump ring off and fix this. Now I'm just going to open my link here and attach my pendant. And open this link. Attach my pendant to the other side. Now it hangs like it's supposed to there. So I'll get my stuff cleaned up here and I'll be back. Okay, there we go. Another necklace and pair of earrings made with the most recent Bargain Bead box, the Spring Blossom collection. If you're not a subscriber to the box and you decide you want to be, that coupon code will save you $2 off your first box. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Take care.